Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. And it's my utmost pleasure and honor, trust me, when I say this, because she has been a supportive, you know, um, a person who has always supported me throughout my career or, in my personal life or even today. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to CA Anu Agrawal. She is a practicing chartered accountant as well as runs her very successful chartered accountancy classes. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being here today with us.
On an honest note, I feel so happy and so honored to actually have and giving my interview to you, Pari, because I've seen you as a little girl and growing into a beautiful woman. It itself makes us feel elated.
Thank you so much. Okay, so before we move on with our, discussion, I would want you to, describe in your own words your journey into chartered accountancy and, how you've managed to successfully run these classes. Because I was a part of these classes. I've, learned, I've grown, I've become a CA under the classes. So please do share.
Uh, I think we'll have to cut down certain portion because when I say how and why I entered into CA, most of the people will laugh. Okay, just trying to cut the long thing short. It's like I had no interest in CA. I never knew what CA is, to be very honest. And just like any other grade 10 student, you have got a lot of dreams. So at that particular point of time, my dream was technically to just get married, coming from typical Agrawal Marwadi family, wherein, you feel life is like happy types if you get married. That was the scenario around me. So 11th, but my parents were like, you should become a doctor if you want to, because everybody in the family was a science person. But somehow science never appealed to me, especially chemistry. And so I started from 11th grade, I started sitting in the accounts class and I used to really like certain things about it. There are only 3 rules given and rest is left to you. So I used to feel, oh, this is more creative than, wherein you have to learn so many things and then reach up to a solution. Here they say, this is it. Now decide what you want to do. So, but then, yes, I did my 12th in commerce and happened to give my CA foundation. And I managed to pass. And till then also, I was not very clear about whether I want to do this profession. But on an honest note, doing the articles at my time, just after your 12th, you could start your articles. So doing the articles is what changed my perception about this profession. It's beautiful because it always answers that question in your mind that why am I studying? What am I doing? Am I helpful? Am I needed? And I could relate to a lot of things, and that's how my interest grew. And yes, I did my CA. Being a decent student, thankfully, I didn't have to face that come again of CA. I just managed to clear it in first attempt. But on an honest note, I sincerely feel that failing is not bad. Sometimes I feel that a lot of my friends actually usually used to fail only. Passing is something abnormal for us.
Yes, right.
But there is no harm. Means like it's okay if because it's a professional exam. It's those 3 hours. How do you think? How do you perceive a question, and how you are actually delivering it? There are 3 different things, and they're very important. You may have studied for 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, but those 3 months are crucial, and not everybody has that same mindset or and that has got nothing to do with CA. That has got very, very personal.
Right.
See, I may have a exam phobia, and I may just end up spoiling everything in the examination hall, right? So that doesn't make me lesser than the person who has actually cleared in the first attempt. So, and I learned it that in my school days, it was always percentage, but here I realized each one of us, whether we have done it in first attempt or second attempt or third attempt, I became very patient. I've become my whole persona as a person. I give it to the CA profession. And yes, and then slowly and gradually I cleared my CA. Then I have a wonderful husband too, who actually I met him before my wedding. So mine is a nice fairy tale wedding. And but then girls, the things begin after you get married, because it's a different ball game, because you have to manage families. Then as the period grows, you become a mother, and that's also important. And everything is happening with us at the same time. When we want to actually grow and understand ourselves in the profession, we, we are biologically being told to take a rest. And again, then after 35, 36, when you start taking control of yourself, then a pause comes in in some or the other form. So many factors. And then after 45, another pause in the form of menopause. And so I think for a woman, it's always a challenge. But I was able to manage this, I think, a lot because of the trust in myself that I can do it, most importantly. Second, your family is very, very important. And as a woman, your husband, your children, your in-laws are very, very crucial.
Right.
It's like, if my husband would have said कि नहीं, मुझको सुबह 9 बजे तुम्हारे हाथ का बना हुआ गरम ब्रेकफास्ट ही चाहिए, तभी तुम निकल सकते हो, तो I don't think I would have been where I am. And my children, of course, a lot of compromises the children have to do. They usually see their mothers when they come back from school, but my children used to see me at sometimes at 4:30 or maybe sometimes at 7 o'clock in the evening directly, and they were fine with it. They used to feel very, I see my children feeling very proud that this is what my mom is.
Yes.
And
I think-
my mother-in-law initially didn't understand, but my father-in-law used to be very proud. And now I see that glint in eyes in my mother-in-law's eyes also. When she meets her, and she's like, she's my daughter-in-law.
Wow.
So my journey belongs, it cannot be individualistic. A lot of ecosystem is required.
Right. And I think this ecosystem is, I feel you're very blessed to have this ecosystem. And
I am.
somewhere, this was supposed to be a point of discussion as well. But because, we've come to this, so I'll take this question forward that, we have observed how even if we have a lot of women clearing CA, girls clearing or becoming a CA, very, very less CAs, women CA practice. Some might go into some job and, subsequently might leave the job. Like you said, we have to manage a lot. So, people leave their job, women leave their job. But practicing CA, there are very less women. And if they are practicing, it is just those limited number of hours of 2 or 3 hours. I have just 2-3 hours to, manage, or I'll support my husband in his practice. But that growth-oriented women CA, practicing women CA are very less. What do you feel about that?
Very a beautiful question. And if at all, I'll be a little more stricter when I speak. I hope it will not be offending.
No, please go ahead.
Because, I see, when we are born as girls, there are certain things. One is the ecosystem. One is we, as a person, as a girl, also, there are certain things which God has made us, like that. Like safety and security is something which is very, very prime to us in our minds, which may not be very prime to a boy, right? Let's go about it.
Correct.
So that is also one step we are always thinking when we are thinking of, going in for a meeting. And if the meeting is at 7:30 in the evening, so we are like reluctant. Forget the family first. Let us first talk about ourselves, right? So are we very on for it that, okay, I can do that? Second, I don't know. I always feel men or even the people around us want women to fill the places of the men, something which was like a men's zone. it's like women are being taken as fillers, or women herself want to behave like men. But I feel diversity is important. I am what I am. And today in the boardroom, you need people who have a different way of thinking, because we women definitely have a different way of thinking, and we can actually put it forward depending on how we perceive things, how we look into it, instead of looking at the way God has made us separately, no?
Right.
So that's one thing. I find women themselves not understanding and recognizing their own strengths. This is what I feel. Secondly, coming up to managing time. So we are not managing time because of XYZ, even if those XYZ reasons are, let's say my children have to go to school, right? And I'm afraid, and I don't have enough money that I can afford a maid. Let's be very honest.
Right.
We'll have to manage, no? So
Correct.
This is no big deal, right? But the question is, we'll have to develop those, entrepreneurial thought process in us. Me being a teacher, I'll give you an example. Say, for example, I'm working in a college. This is a live example of somebody I'm quoting. So I'm just talking in, not direct terms. Yeah. So the woman works in a college. She is doing her part-time, keeping into mind that, okay, by the time, 6:45, Mumbai may the lecture starts.
Right.
6:45 also, depending on which, of course, we CAs will not be teaching the lower grades. So we are usually, 6:30, 6:45, and, you take one lecture, two lectures, and you're back home. Then you do your cooking and all that stuff, and then you're back. I've actually seen that lady doing that. And in that, she started up her own practice, managing both the worlds, managing her. And I think, why am I talking this? I have an entrepreneur sitting in front of me who has managed everything, and she's doing it. Parinita Dukia. So,
Thank you.
so management, okay, we should feel that way, that, okay, not everybody is blessed, not everybody's circumstances are same, but if you have that urge inside you that I need to do it, you need to find your own ways. You need to think a way entrepreneurs think. So coming back to that lady, she did not take the cash flow from that practice which she was taking. She was like, even in the college career, in that workplace, she was saying, I would take up an equity. It took her 6-8 long months to get her first client, right? And we women, I've seen most of the women, it's like, if you get 100, we don't want to share 80. But the thing is, everything on this world works only at that 10 and 15. You need to share that rest 85, right? You need to develop the things around you. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So you will have to do that. And the third thing is, coming back to that question, is that women are not getting into practice, like, as I said, safety. So this, I don't know, I read an article somewhere, Pari, I don't remember it. It was written by some CA only, but I don't remember the name of that person. She had written that a woman CA gets, a meeting time at 8 o'clock in the evening. So what she does is, she takes a friend along, a technical expert, because we as CAs are not technical people per se. She takes a technical person along with the meeting, and she's able to crack the meeting. And then the technical aspects were also included in it. So the client is more impressed. And this actually helps her get more work. On the other hand, she's saying there's another set of a CA, women CA, who's like, I will be meeting you only between 1 to 4. Now, everybody cannot meet us as 1 to 4, because that's the time my son's or daughter sleeps. Right? So I can be available. See, when we are wanting to be a part of this, business world, and we have that capability, we will have to work the way it works.
Find ways.
You cannot say. And then again, I see, why are we thinking in that traditional, that tax authority karna, ye karna. Guys, there is a different way of operations and working which is coming together, wherein you are required to become an analyst, research analyst, business analyst, think differently. You can sit at the comfort and still grow and develop your practice. You need to identify what is your interest and what is your capability. Like today, I was so impressed when you said that, ma'am, branding is essential, 100% essential. We as CAs, the code of ethics say we cannot brand ourselves or we cannot talk about our work, but we can brand ourselves definitely. We should know how to do that. And sitting back at home, we can get so much of work, but then we need to learn how to brand and develop and understand our own interests and capabilities. So I feel, instead of talking about that, why women are not getting into it, I would like to say women need to first introspect, brand themselves, project themselves. Don't try to fill up places, try to be them, and try to find out areas which interest them and manage it, because they are your children. He's your husband. And so I don't know. This is my take, Pari.
How can we support each other? Matlab, what can women do to support each other?
Pari, do you remember last year you took me to a place wherein there was women entrepreneurs coming up?
Right.
So I think, Pari, you have the answer yourself. I just loved it. I was not able to go back again because, to be very honest, over these years, I have developed and I am able to do work which is keeping my hands full. But that was a beautiful way. See, whole way of growing is connecting. See, aaj ki date mein, Anu grows alone, not possible. Pari grows alone, not possible. We need to develop this system. So you need to network. Network is the keyword. You need to go and meet people, right? There are certain things which are going to be a takeaway from you, like me being your mentor. But after looking at yourself, I watch you. I listen to all your write-ups. I listen to whatever you speak, because I have taken a lot of inspiration from that, Pari, because I earlier, I never believed in advertising, right? I was like, people will come to me. But Baba, how will they know you're good, na? Secondly, Anu Agrawal is Anu Agrawal, and what is special about Anu Agrawal needs to be projected and branded like that, right? So trust me, Pari, my life has changed only hearing you.
My God.
I'm not kidding, Pari, because from, thinking traditional ways, I have started doing many other things. When we are going to meet, I'm going to tell you what all I'm doing. I realized that, first of all, I need to work on myself, project myself. I was never on LinkedIn.
Right.
When I read your post that you need to be on LinkedIn, it's only 3 months back, I joined LinkedIn, and it's a different world. Yes. And it is so important for we CAs to be there. As I said, networking. See, how do we help each other is the only way is, I know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing, and we connect. क्योंकि हर काम तुम नहीं कर पाओगी, हर काम मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगी, लेकिन जो काम तुम कर पाओगी वो मैं तुमको पास ऑन कर दूंगी, तुम मुझे पास ऑन कर दूंगी, and we both grow together and enjoy a glass of together. Don't eat the whole cake yourself.
Network is definitely something, I think, and in CA profession, network is so underrated. Matlab, we always hear MBAs talking about, alumni, network and everything. But CA में वो, I think, factor थोड़ा सा missing है कि,
वो missing इसलिए किसी को बता दिया मेरा पेपर कैसे होगा तो नजर लग जाएगी.
I think
तो वो एटीट्यूड हम अभी भी कैरी कर रहे हैं कि किसी को मैंने बता दिया कि मैं क्या कर रही हूँ तो ऐसा ना हो कि नजर लग जाए. ऐसा नहीं होता. You need to tell, you need to talk about yourself. I'm using your lines, Pari. I am using your lines.
I am in loss of words.
No, but then I think ICI should actually hold people like you on a bigger scale, and everybody should be told the importance of being on LinkedIn, connecting, networking, helping each other out. And as whichever meeting you took in wherein the lady was there and all women entrepreneurs were there, we should have something like this, even at the CA level,
Right.
that there has to be, you know, a person, instead of all those meetings which we have, we should have that, okay, whoever is doing whatever work, I can handle this, you can handle this, we come together, discuss, and I think we can take the profession to the next level together.
Right. So on that note, you know, you have been into practice for such a long period, and you've seen such, you know, like you said, today it's not all about taxation or audit. Just there are variety of work that can be done. So if you can guide, you know, what are the new areas of practice that are coming up, which students and CAs can look forward for, even the, you know, seasoned practitioner, not a young practitioner, but somebody who wants to explore new areas of practice.
On that note, Pari, I would say, see, my practice or my way of doing, when I say as a practicing CA, I have not practiced that hardcore taxation or hardcore audit. But yes, I've managed between teaching to corporate trainings to advisory, you know, to consulting. And so I had always been doing things differently in order to actually understand myself, and at the same time also, you know, teaching never actually completely absorbed my capabilities. I wanted to learn more, so that's why I was venturing into so many things. So and it was helping me, and I'm happy about it. Talking currently, I think I was I don't know, I was reading again, not reading, in fact I was sitting in a meeting somewhere, we were talking about part-time CFOs. Right. Now, this part-time CFOs is such a beautiful concept wherein we actually, women can step in, because it's a win-win for both the organization and the women, right? Wherein you are taking the services, the services of a specialist on need-based basis. So the company gains by, you know, cutting down on its costs. The women, the CA, our colleague, gains by having the flexibility she's, you know, wanting, but at the same time gaining for the time she's actually putting in. So we as CAs can actually venture into something like this. Secondly, I feel now there's a lot of scope for, these non-profit organizations, or I should say NGOs, though it takes time, but putting your foot into it, because we women CAs are very good in understanding the, you know, the education part. It's a beautiful area wherein you can actually go into. Next, I think nowadays this ESG, environmental social governance.
Right.
This is an upcoming thing. Our finance minister also spoke about it. The requirement for carbon credits and how to control it and how it is going to be on the balance sheet now is something which we can actually start working on and start even talking about it. And before any new law comes, we as CS should actually start talking about that. How do we take it on the balance sheet, and the valuation, the part of it, how do we work it, and we make a, you know, SOP for the same, and, you know, so that the members start understanding that this is also an area wherein we can actually venture ourselves. And of course, I feel this is going to be very flexible. But again, it depends upon the interests and capability of the individual wanting to appreciate the same. And third, I think it's right now, the world is changing. You can absolutely make yourself important. जैसे लोग बोलते हैं ना, AI आने से CA की काम खत्म हो जाएगा, मुझे लगता है बिल्कुल नहीं खत्म हो. डिसीजन मेकिंग में तो हम चाहिए ना, और चाहे तो इंस्टेड ऑफ, एज आई सेड, इंस्टेड ऑफ टैक्स और ऑडिट के अलावा हम देख सकते हैं हम कहाँ फाइनेंस स्ट्रक्चरिंग में, कहाँ एनालिसिस में फिट इन हो सकते हैं, कहाँ हम रिसर्च में फिट इन हो सकते हैं, बिकॉज वी कैन actually has let the organization grow.
Right.
So lot of areas, lot of areas. I think we need separate question for that.
ESG वाला तो actually it's something, you know, it's जो बोलते हैं ना कि एकदम raw है. It is something that we can mold.
Absolutely.
And like, and right, AI cannot replace CAs. It is the same. वो जब computers आया था तो ऐसा था ना कि अरे computers will replace humans, but what it has just enhanced us. So this is what we have to see.
Correct.
you are a teacher and you've seen along with CA, a lot of people, students actually are, going for CA, CPA, आपने भी CPA किया है, ACCA है. There are so many, professions. You have been, you know, you are a strong face for it. And so, what do you think is the difference? Where are the differences, and how can actually a CA come into the same lines or the international standards? Ko how do we match so that we are in lines with those professional degrees, or the type of practice they are doing?
A very difficult question as a CA you've asked me.
I didn't
I
have
can
anything
answer on a personal front.
Uh,
On a personal front as to how I feel, because after venturing into this, doing CPA Australia myself, the reason was I'm not into hardcore practice, but I really wanted to understand how and what is the expectation of international courses. पर ही सबसे पहले तो हम लोग को अपना माइंडसेट चेंज करना चाहिए. It's a profession, right? But in the recent past 15 years, I don't know, I have started feeling कि people are like more, they treat it like a grade 12th exam. एग्जाम दिया है, पास होना जरूरी है, नहीं पास हुए तो पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा, राइट? और लोग पेरेंट्स को और पीयर ग्रुप को ब्लेम करते हैं. मैं कहती हूँ वी नीड टू ब्लेम द स्टूडेंट देमसेल्व्स, बिकॉज दिस इज द माइंडसेट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट, राइट? मुझे दोनों ग्रुप एक बार में पास कर, मैं अपनी क्लास में बच्चे को बोलती थी फेल हो गए कोई बात नहीं, राइट? इसमें आप मुझे ये भी बोल सकते हो, इफ माई चिल्ड्रन आर हियरिंग, because when my son could not clear one paper, I was like upset. See, I'm talking like a mother, that's a separate issue. Because when I talk like a mother, my intention is कि भाई तुमने उसको 100% नहीं दिया, right? ठीक है, but that should not be confused with the fact that I'm judging you, right? That you did not clear in the first attempt. So first of all, I think the youth of today has to first understand कि हम प्रोफेशनल डिग्री कर रहे हैं, what does the profession require, right? वो प्रोफेशन रिक्वायर करता है that when you're reading a subject, you get into the skin of the subject, you understand the subject. You cannot go down to some coaching class, get some notes, read those notes, understand how the sum needs to be done. Just method teaching जो वो है ना तरीका, वो हटना चाहिए. मेथड लर्निंग हटना चाहिए. और यही वो इन इंटरनेशनल कोर्सेज में है जो हमारे में नहीं है. हमारे में ये स्टेप के बाद ये स्टेप, ये स्टेप के बाद ये स्टेप, ये बात के स्टेप के बाद ये, उसके रियल लाइफ में भी चार अकाउंटेंट्स हम जो चीजें हैंडल कर रहे हैं वो एकदम डिफरेंट बॉल गेम है. यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट सीए कोर्स एंड द प्रोफेशन एक्चुअली डेवलप्स इन अस इज it makes us very patient. It helps us to, understand numbers. It helps us to understand the various theorems. But when it is coming down to situations, we are taking time, right? The CA course is undergoing a change, but then this has to, only changing the syllabus won't help. There has to be a complete change in the mindset. When I wrote my CPA Australia paper, trust me, it was an open book paper. I read the textbook. I would say I could not read the whole textbook, but I heard a lot of sessions of various different people talking about that paper. I didn't even know what that paper is. I had to solve some 32 case studies sitting in that 3 hours. It was again. And everything was MCQ. It is very difficult to answer an MCQ in a situation scenario. Yeah. And you have to think, and you don't have to answer. See, usually MCQs are treated to be like, numbers bhanna. But here MCQs were all about this situation with reaction. Right. Right. And it was difficult. It was difficult because, and my learning process is the reason why I passed. If I would have gone the typical studying way, I would not have passed. But I actually understood because I attended a lot of these sessions, what they're expecting, the simulation, because our meetings were not limited to, talking. They used to give us a simulation case study and divide it into groups. Even the members meet, which we used to have, used to be very interesting, Pari. It used to be not that routine way of doing and holding it. It used to be different. I shouldn't say more about it, which was used to be like coming out of that meeting used to be a takeaway that, okay, Ari, why didn't I see this? Why didn't I look into this aspect? Everybody was divided into groups. It was like 4 or 5 hours. We were all working on it, cracking a particular situation. So we have to change our methodology of holding meetings. We have to make it more situational. We have to make it more case studies. We can make it, okay, for when we are teaching a concept, okay, there it's fine. But after that, when you're actually wanting to think and wanting your affirmation on the same, the student has to develop the habit of self-learning and treat the teacher to be there just as a mentor. No notes is going to change your way of thinking. You are you and I am me.
I think you are the best person who can actually, and I can say this, that I not even because you've done CPA or I've seen this method of yours since the very start, from the very beginning. You've always, upheld this method where you, learn the concept, but when it comes to application, you have to use your own mind, you have to use your own reasoning. So I remember, before my costing exam and finals, I was not studying. I was just sitting, and my mom was so scared. Ki, what are you doing? It's your finals tomorrow. Like, costing, it's okay. Anu ma'am ne padhaya, nothing will happen. Don't worry. It's all, if you can apply, it's all there. So, I've always, I think, and this has really helped me, not only in the professional way, but in the way your thought process changes, in the way you start thinking about even life situations. It really develops you. So I think I really agree with whatever you've said about application, facilitative way of learning. This is really important, because I've started with you, then my career, my training sessions, it's all it's I keep on applying this method of yours.
Oh, thank you.
So, and the last thing, because I really believe in this, and you have been my mentor, even you said, having a mentor is more important than a teacher.
Correct.
So, why do you think so? And the problem with this is people think you have to have a mentor only during your studies, or, when you're a student. After that, the mentor concept just goes away. For people, that's the perception people have. But what do you think? How important is a mentor in your even in a career, in your professional life?
As I told you, you mentored me, right? I followed you, right? See, there is more you learn, the better you are, right? See, today, let's take up a small example: share market, right? We as chartered accountants, all of us know what shares are, what equity is, but I need a mentor, a guide, to actually help me identify when do I come out of the market. Me and my husband were discussing, he actually paid for a particular course to actually understand more, right? Now, the person there is not teaching him cost of equity, or he's not teaching that for the butterfly or matrix. Wo ho gaya aapka. He's actually helping you that, okay, if you have chosen this particular portfolio, then okay, this is your choice. This is, you have made it, or that, okay, according to me, this, and then you apply your thought process and something good comes out of it, right? So I feel this concept of mentorship is throughout your life, whether it is personal front. Today you have a problem, I have a problem, we talk to each other. No, the other person, because is in a more stable situation or has experienced a lot of things. So when I go to that person with my one problem, that person has actually handled 100 such problems already, has that experience into it. He or she is able to mentor you come out of that problem, right?
Right.
Similarly, I am working, I'm doing my business, or I'm practicing as a CA, I'm not able to grow my business, right? There may be some block, no?
Right.
There may be some block, which can be leading to my way of talking, which can be leading to because how I address clients, or it can be how I'm reaching up to my clients. It can be any block. I do not know, but there can be a block. If I reach up to an expert who is handling and helping people grow their business, now that person has handled such situation in 100 such ways, right? So when I go up to that person is like, bang on, this is where you're going wrong. A small piece of advice and my life changes. So the thing is, as I said, we need to actually now change our way of thinking, Pari. Right? We are thinking still very traditional.
I think
I feel that, okay. Huh?
I think people are very reluctant to ask for help. I think वो एक बहुत बड़ा चीज है.
वो माइंडसेट है ना कि अगर मैंने तुमको अप्रोच किया तो कहीं तुम मुझे जज ना करने लगो. See, people are afraid of judging. कि यार, how come Anu ma'am doesn't know it? अरे Anu ma'am cannot know it. It's very normal. जैसे मैं तुम्हें बताऊं, I'm not a computer expert. Initially, I used to have a hitch. But today, when I'm doing it, I don't mind asking a student कि बेटा मुझे ये चीज नहीं आ रही है, बता दो.
Right.
मैंने लाइफ में उतने एक्सटेंड तक काम ही नहीं किया, राइट? मैं अब काम कर रही हूँ, तो तुमको मुझसे बेटर आता होगा ना. मुझे इंस्टाग्राम नहीं आता. आई टेक द हेल्प ऑफ अ चाइल्ड, नो, आई टेक द हेल्प ऑफ माय ओन सन. ही इज मेंटोरिंग मी. सो I think we need to get out of that, long drawn process that मैं क्यों help you?
Correct.
Right? We need to take help, right? And second, I find people are like, हम खुद ही मैनेज कर लेंगे, क्यों पे करें? हमारे अंदर वो जो कंजूसी और माइजरपना भरा हुआ है ना, और हम अपने हिसाब से, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है वी शुड हैव अ कोर्स दैट वैल्यू एडिशन का मतलब क्या होता है, राइट? We CAs should have it in our text material that everything, certain times ESG comes, everything cannot be financially labeled. We need to value it, and that has a huge financial value, right? Today, a simple such is me coming up on LinkedIn, right? If I pay to somebody to help me come on a LinkedIn and check my posts, and then I post it on the LinkedIn, and for that I need to pay some person 5,000 rupees, but I am able to get a business of 50,000 rupees. It makes a lot of sense. It's 10% of what I'm earning, right?
People just know what is ROI, they don't apply what is ROI.
Everybody is talking about big things, but उस बिग थिंग को अब वही मैं बोल रही हूँ ना, हमारे पढ़ने पढ़ाने का तरीका बहुत रूटीनाइज, स्टैंडर्डाइज्ड और मेथोडिकल, और मेथड क्या मैं बोलूं, मेरे को शब्द नहीं है कि मतलब A + B = C. A + B may not be C most of the times.
Right.
Or if you do or add something, this can become E as well. A + B can be E. So the game of valuation, इतना ज्यादा मार्केट ऊपर नीचे सफरिंग्स देखने के बाद भी हम वैल्यूएशन गेम नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं, तो अभी क्या? What next? I should talk more on this.
This can be a never-ending conversation for us.
Absolutely. But I strongly feel people should seek help. चाहे हम सिर्फ डिप्रेशन के केसेस में बात करते हैं, सीक हेल्प. हम सीएस कितने डिप्रेस्ड हैं? क्योंकि हमको पता है हम इस चीज के काबिल हैं, हम ये कर सकते हैं, बट हमको रास्ता ही नहीं पता.
Without expert, no, we don't go and ask कि how can I take a external help and grow myself.
We women are the biggest example. We will always meet in goody, but why can't I just walk up to somebody and say कि यार मुझसे चीज नहीं हो पा रही? I walked up to my friend, trust me, मैं एक छोटा सा example दूंगी, I would not name that CA. Indirect tax की problem थी, right? And I was like, यार कोई तो तरीका होगा, but I'm of course not handling direct tax. So I just happened to talk to my friend Shweta. She said, Anu, तू अकेले क्यों handle कर रही? Why don't you consult Archana on this, right? When I sat with her, Pari, for a cup of coffee, I realized, God, she is so good. right? अब एक बात करने से ही बात निकली ना, right? And of course, now we can actually develop those synergies amongst around us. तो बात करने से हुआ ना, बिना बात करने से, बिना हेल्प सीख करने से कैसे हो जाएगा?
नहीं होगा. I think वो हम women में तो specially है that you know I need to do it all.
Why? Why do I need to be the best wife, the best mother, the best bahu, the best of everything? I may take a back seat.
Right.
It's absolutely okay.
Okay.
You would have observed me in a lot of places. I just stand at the back. मुझे नहीं आता.
नहीं करना है.
नहीं कर सकती मैं वो पूजा वाला एस्पेक्ट नहीं आता, मुझे चीज नहीं आती, आप बता दो, मैं कर लूंगी.
कर लेंगे.
तो it's okay.
हाँ. I think this you know this thing of it's okay. I don't it's okay. मुझे नहीं आता, मुझे नहीं करना is something that I've learned from you and I've applied. नहीं आता. I'm not good at everything and I'm fine with it. It's okay.
It's okay. You know.
So, okay. So, ma'am, at the towards the end, anything that you would like to add, you know, for our fellow CAs who are listening to us?
The biggest tagline which I tell to all my women colleagues, and you know, first of all, be in your skin. Don't. We have a different flavor when we think about anything. So to all the women, do not take your you know, your problems as your, you know, don't make it big. Okay, accept it that okay, ये चीज है, मैं ये काम इस समय नहीं कर पाऊंगी, ये चीज है, बिकॉज वो तुम्हारे बच्चे हैं, तुम्हारे हस्बैंड है, तुम्हारी फैमिली है, and that's also important. Try to think how can you actually overcome it. Try to find out those opportunities. SWOT analysis हम पढ़ते थे, तो you know the threat, make that threat into an opportunity. And to everybody else, I would say, क्या पता, there would be certain problems which men are facing, which we women don't understand, कि men हमारी तरह सोच ही नहीं पाते हैं, शायद वो मल्टीटास्क नहीं कर पाते हैं, शायद उनके अंदर बहुत सारी कमियां हैं जो हमको पता ही नहीं है और हम दुखी होते रहते हैं, right? So and they can't even speak about it, right? So the only thing which I would say to everybody is, first, understand your interest, understand your capabilities. There is no harm being a CA. You change your field, you apply your knowledge of CA. My student is into now painting and she is designing books, right? She is writing and doing, she calls it by a separate name. She went into NID. You are not doing a typical CA work, you're into branding. Identify your niche, get into it, and be vocal about your problems and seek for a mentor.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am. I've learned so much today. And I totally agree on so many points, like the facilitative way of application, which we CAs need to start applying for, the importance of branding, importance of asking for help, which is the biggest thing, I think. You know, and when we say asking for help, not only your health as in your physical or mental health, it's about professional help. Come on, go and seek for that professional help. So again, a very, very big thank you, ma'am, for, you know, spending your time and, you know, sharing your journey with us, because like I've always been inspired by you on especially one aspect of growing. Keep learning, keep growing. There's nothing that is stopping you to learn more and become something else in, you know, different phases of your life. So thank you so much for inspiring us more than the information. And we would love to have you again, where I know, because we have so many topics to talk on. This is just a trailer. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you.